Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Mundo's Garden. So I'm out here still cleaning up the garden today. I was actually in my wife's flower bed cleaning up some stuff because I had mentioned I needed to clean up the strawberries. So I went ahead, had my little bucket here, picking up all the little baby strawberries that were coming off. And I thought I'd show you this because I kept them all together. There's 14 strawberry plants strung up together here, with runners in between. 14 different plants, 14 or 15, I'm not sure. I think it was 14, but I could be wrong. It could be 15. But I mean, just here we got the 5, 10. So that's 15 plants. So you can see the strawberry plant can be very productive in putting off babies. So you can maximize the amount of strawberries you get if you have the space. I just wanted to show you guys because I thought it was crazy how from just one, and if we look at it, we could probably tell this is probably the first runner that hit soil and decided to start putting out other runners, because it put off runners this way, and this way, whereas others probably got to put off 2 only. So it's pretty cool, but if you have the space, you can maximize your production in the way that I've read a lot of people do it, and I haven't really been doing it long enough to be able to tell you from my personal experience. But what they'll do is they'll have a bed where they allow a couple of runners to hit every year, and when those runners hit, the rest of them they'll clip, so that after a year or so, after the strawberry plants stop producing, after about, I think they say like max out pretty much around like 3 to 5 years, after which they stop producing really good strawberries. They start producing smaller strawberries. The plant essentially gets weaker, being older. So what people do is they'll allow a couple of runners from every year so that they could start canceling out, and they kind of do like in a rotational kind of thing, where they kind of train it to where it's going to go, right? So it just because so like in this case here, just because the strawberries want to land anywhere, you would pull them up and kind of shift them over, and that kind of thing. Here, some of these plants, actually, I still have some of the old plants. This is an old plant that I still don't understand how that crown got so high, but I remember this being one of the older plants. Actually, this might have been one of the older plants, and the runner might have come off of that. But either way, here in this bed, I'll probably have to start, and I am allowing new runners to grow so that eventually I'll be able to start canceling out some of the older, weaker plants. The thing is, with this setup, I didn't pay enough attention to where I can keep track of it. Now, if you can and you set up a system, that'd be the best way to go about doing it. Because if you have like a square bed where you're going to be doing strawberries in, and this is what I'm going to be planning to do over here, I'll show you, and I'm going to get all those strawberries into some water so that I can keep them alive. As you guys know, that I'm not big on just letting the plants die, but here in this bed here, that's my plan, is to start using it for strawberries, and I'll kind of rotate on and off, but I'll allow maybe each plant to put off one runner this year. Or maybe I'll clip all the runners. Actually, I'll probably clip all the runners this year. Next year, I'll go ahead and allow maybe like one runner off of each plant it kind of to like next to it. The third year, I'll make sure to clip all the runners. And then the fourth year, maybe I'll take the first plants out and allow the new plants, or the newer plants, to put their runners in. The next year, clip all runners. The following year, take the old ones out, and so on and so forth. I figure if you come up with a system like that, it should be kind of helpful, and that way you don't have an overgrown area of strawberries as I had here in this bed, which I got it all cleaned up. I think I'll have to go back and double check, but it seems like I did get all of the strawberries out of there. But I like to try to keep as much of it as live as possible. We do go through a lot of strawberries. I mean, I'm telling you, on a weekly basis. My children, 3 kids, could go through probably, I'm trying to think, we buy those, what are they, 3 pound, 5 pound, 3 pound containers, I think is what they are, the larger ones. And they can go through, easily, like, 2 to 3 of those a week. So that's a lot of strawberries that they could go through. So that's why I want to try to always make sure that we have strawberry plants, because come summertime, I don't have to go out and buy them. They can come out, pick some, and eat them. And the little guy, he's been fantastic about coming out. He loves coming out when it's summertime, and he's always the first one digging through to see if there's any ripe strawberries, and he'll pick them and eat them right off the plant. As I don't use any pesticides, I don't use any types of I do use a couple things that are organic, but when the stuff is coming in and it's almost time to harvest, I make sure to rinse all that stuff off. Even though it is organic and I'm not really too worried about them, it's not going to harm him. But I still just like to rinse off just in case there's any residue in taste or anything of that sort. But aside from that, nothing goes on in my plants. So that's pretty much my take. So what I've been doing, and just a little thing here, I just cleaned this one out too, but for the sake of like recycling and repurposing, I just slice open a water bottle. I'll use this, and then later on I can, when it gets transplanted, put in another new pot or whatever garden bed, I can go ahead and rinse this out and recycle. So it's very important for us to take care of our environment, to take care of our planet. That's one of the biggest things, obviously, to gardening is, you have less waste, you're being greener about things, you're being healthier, and that goes, that should go hand in hand with recycling and doing things that are good for the planet. That's why I try to repurpose material for the gardening, and all kinds of stuff like that. Like, I try not to I definitely don't buy any what is it, I guess, and I don't use like non-organic fertilizers and stuff like that. I don't go out. I use the Job's organic, but then I also use organic matter myself in my beds that'll break down when it comes to scraps and waste. I try to reduce trash, even though that stuff's going to break down anyway, but I try to reduce, us using trash bags and stuff like that by means of, putting a lot of those scraps into beds and things like that where they can break down and become compost for my garden, making it a more sustainable and healthier garden. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me on this episode. I still got some more strawberries to dig up, but thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you like the content, and we'll see you next time in Mundo's Garden. Happy growing.